Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Never, I never, ever want to.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to Six Pack. I will be your special guest host today, as it is Chris's birthday this week. So we are going to have a few different guests come on and wish him a happy birthday, do a little drinking, do a little laughing, and have some fun. So let's bring the birthday boy on. Chris,
Hey,
happy birthday.
thank you very much. It's a little bit overwhelming, all of this. It's yeah, I haven't had a birthday party thrown for me in years, so this is quite nice.
Well, you know, we are your family and we love you so very, very much. So, of course, we'll do this for you. And you sang happy birthday for me on my birthday anyway, so of course.
I did, and I'm surprised you actually spoke to me after I did that, because I think I was slightly out of key, and I think we had different voices bouncing from every direction, but hey, you're still here, so you're a glutton for punishment, so I will give you that. I'll tell you the nice thing about this birthday party, as opposed to the last one I had. I think the last birthday party, I had to invite a bunch of people that I probably didn't like that much, but you know, you've just people you've got to invite to a party. At least this time I get to do it with a stack of people I like.
There you go.
Well, I mostly like, you know. No, I know I'm joking. I love everyone. Sorry.
Of course you do. We're the best, right?
Couldn't help myself. And I know that you've organised Darth Dawkins for me.
Yeah.
So
He'll be here.
I'm looking forward to seeing my old mate Darthy.
Well, the asshole number 104. That's his name.
Oh, no, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. As long as there's no Kent in a cake, I'll be happy.
On a personal note, you know how much I adore you, so I'm happy that you let us do this for you.
Passion. So.
Right.
You can't stand me. That's okay. No, it's and look, it's hey, I'm all for a bit of fun, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So thank you.
Good. And we have another birthday boy, actually. Sam, can you come on in?
What's up?
Happy birthday to you too, Sam. Your birthday was this past Sunday, right?
Whatever day the 14th was. Sorry, the days and dates are not a thing I pay too much attention to at the moment, but yeah.
None of us have. So thank you for coming. Anything you want to say to Chris?
I thought it was today. I think I actually cheekily wished you a happy Friday, not thinking you wanted anyone to know.
Oh, I thought it was just a generic. Oh, it's Friday. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
No, I actually asked ahead of time. I made sure it was okay to spill his secret, so he's fine with it. Right, Sam? You're still okay with it?
Yeah. I have mentioned it on stream before. I just don't. You know, there's no Facebook notification these days. You know.
Yeah.
It's because no one's on
It's
Facebook.
also Mr. Bear Atheist's birthday. That's why he couldn't be here, but that's today. So we can all wish him a happy birthday as well.
That's what Mr. Bear. That's what Mr. Bear said last time. I said, "Come on to a stream." Oh no, it's my birthday. I can't. You gotta watch that Bear. I tell you, you gotta watch him.
All right, and our producer Jen, come on in.
Hey!
Welcome. How are you doing this morning or this evening?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Happy birthday, Chris and Sam. Many happy returns to the pair of you.
Excellent.
All right, bring the rest in. We had our special introductions for the two birthday boys.
We've got... Because he made it in time and then he looks weird as hell, but...
Holy shit! You guys managed to get Jake the Snake Roberts here.
Hey.
Happy birthday, fuckers!
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, dickhead.
We have several guests, don't we, Amanda? So, who would you like
this
in
is our
first?
normal crew. But we brought in a bunch of people today to say
Yeah.
happy birthday. So who do you want to bring in first, Jen? How about Susan?
Well, yeah, we'll bring Susan in.
I was just all like, "Oh, me!" Oh, yeah, it is me. Oh shit!
Well, considering it's like 4 a.m. where you are,
It is. It is.
I think we should at least be a little bit nice to you.
Well, bright side, I have coffee. Apparently, I have a cat who's climbing all over my desk. Hi, how's it going? She wishes you happy birthday as well. So you can see her tail.
That's the first time ever a cat's been nice to me because cats just we don't do business together.
She appears grumpy, but she's actually very nice. You can't really see her face, but yeah. So
What happened to
happy
Angel?
birthday.
Angel? Oh, this is yeah. Got really
Man,
in a
you always
while.
do that.
She heard
So I'm
you
gonna-
Susan talking about the cat and felt it left out.
I'm
So
going
the
to drop
disturbance
myself
in the
and Jay
corner.
out so that we can bring the other 2 guests in that are here already to say happy birthday to the 2
All
birthday
right,
boys.
what are you guys drinking first?
I'm not, because I'm producing and I want to stay sober for that.
Tea.
All right, cool beans. What you got then? Susan's got coffee. You got a.
Hell yeah.
Am I really the only one? Sam, what are you drinking?
Jack Daniels.
Okay, good. At least, I can't. Why aren't you drinking, Chris?
Who did I drop out?
Seriously?
Why? Because yesterday I did a video about how I'm getting fat and not looking after myself. So I thought I'm not going to start with drinking. I'll have one a bit later. Actually, I just realised I'm
drink
drinking
for you.
Coke, so that completely kills that,
Fuck you,
doesn't it?
dude. Oh,
Scotch and soda, man. 80 calories a shot.
yeah, there you go.
I've got the cognac back there, so maybe we'll crack the cognac. Yeah.
All right. Morning,
Well-
Ed. Good morning, Jeff. Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Hello. I want to wish a very happy birthday to Vagrant Sam and that other guy there, Chris.
Yeah, don't worry about him. He's a pain in the ass.
No, happy birthday, mates. I hope you guys are doing well.
Oh,
what do you-
This is like I said, it's a birthday party with people I like, so that's a good start. That's a good
So
start.
he says. So he says. I'm going to assume you're drinking coffee, Ed, because you're always drinking coffee.
I'm always drinking coffee. And oh, look at that
Oh,
beautiful
cool.
picture of Jay. I
Jay's
mean,
back
Jake
in the
the
screen.
Snake.
Hey, Jay. I was gonna say,
Amazing.
what do you get when you cross Jay with Navadia?
What?
So.
Jake the Snake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Navadia's always a snake, and Jay's Jake.
Gotcha.
Oh wow.
Amazing.
Now, I can't stay very long. It is a big weekend for myself and Amber also, but I just wanted to wish you guys a very happy birthday. And hopefully things over there are going well for everybody. Of course, I live in the States and everything here is madness. But
Oh, we're fine. All the pubs are open. Everything's back to normal. We're getting people back in
Holidays
the,
too.
we're planning holidays. We're going to have people back in the sports grounds next week. We locked down. We did as we were told.
Yeah.
What is that
There's a lot-
like?
I know, right?
That's just a
It's quite good,
fascinating
actually.
concept.
There's
I
a lot
know,
of
look,
amazing
it's
things I haven't
crazy.
seen in Australia, and I'm going to see him while you bastards can't cross the borders to see him. So I'm going to have like Uluru to myself, Whitehaven Beach to myself. It's going to be amazing.
No American tourists.
Whale watching.
We are pains in the ass. I mean,
Hey, it's
There's
not just
no
you guys.
denying
The
that.
rest
Hang
of the
on,
world.
who are we going to talk to about the drop bears then? I mean, do you think the Kiwis will fall for it?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, oh.
Rub it in. Fine.
The Brits will fall for it.
Yeah, but
they're
you
not
can't cross the
either.
borders either.
No, it's only New Zealand, it looks like. So we're doing a bit of a deal because New Zealand also did as they were told and locked down, and they've pretty much eliminated it.
oh, they have. Yeah.
We've almost done the same, and yeah.
Yeah, I think New Zealand's completely eliminated. I think
No, it's not. No, they had a stuff up.
they had 14 days at one point when the new cases. That was close.
Yeah, they had some people who flew back into Auckland and then drove to Wellington and had it. So
I don't wish to I don't wish to interrupt the conversation, but I'm here because Manda told me there'd be cake and I'm hungry.
The cake is a lie.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Not too bad. Happy birthday, Chris.
Thank
Belated
you, mate.
birthday wishes to Sam as well. Hope we're having a good time. So I know you're happy. I know Chris is happy about the sports being back. So
Oh yeah. It's a wonderful thing. I can't even sit here and watch it while I'm chatting to all you.
Well,
Nice coming back.
we've got the Premier League back, albeit behind closed doors at the moment now. So we're starting to come out as well. So
Excellent. Well, that means League Two will be started up again too, and the mighty Scunthorpe United will be playing.
yep.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I do have to get ready to go. Like I said, it's a big weekend for my wife and I. It's our
Happy
first anniversary.
Oh,
Thank you.
happy
No.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Again, I want to wish you two fine gentlemen happy birthdays, and I want everybody to take care of themselves, be safe. I'll see you again soon, okay?
Thanks,
See ya.
Ed.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
So what are you drinking, Jeff?
I am on my Heineken today. So
Still gross. Whereas I
You're-
have some
you-
fruity drink, so.
okay, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to leave. I will get a drink, but I'm going to leave it to the chat. So what I'm going to say is, if you want me to have a scotch, put one in.
I sold my soul for a case of that, and I haven't gotten it yet.
What, you sold or a case?
It's
Sam
liquid
and I
death.
were just one.
Yes.
It's just water,
One
but
for a
it's called
scotch, two
liquid
for
death.
beer.
So their Liquid Death has this thing where if you sign a contract with them to sell them your soul, then you'll get a free case of water whenever you buy one, because it's like canned water, so it's way better than the bottled water, because people actually recycle aluminum a lot more. But they also have there's something that they came out with. I think they have like a hoodie that they came out with recently that I really, really want. But yeah, they have the best commercials on podcasts and shit, so it's pretty cool.
Our son came home with one the other day. He was like, "What the hell? All right, we gotta get some of that."
Yeah, it's literally like a quote unquote legally binding contract. Trade your soul for a case of water. So it's pretty cool.
Like everybody that has to sign the contract that's going to Trump's rally, so they don't sue for getting COVID.
Right.
You know what? That's a very smart move by a clearly on top of it president.
Right.
Like culpability though, like it's,
You know, he's that's forward thinking, forward planning. It's he seems alright. You guys must really like him over there.
Why? Because we seem to keep him around a lot.
This Liquid Death is quite successful then in a very religious country where a lot of people believe in souls. So it's that's some blooming marketing there. I actually think someone like me could come over there. I'm gonna own America within 2 years.
I mean, we're pretty gullible, so
Do you want it? I mean, the British gave it back about 250 years ago. It's kind of like, no, we're good. We're going to go to Australia.
Chris,
in all fairness,
Chris, they don't upset them. They have this narrative that they kicked us out. They didn't realise that we didn't want the place anymore.
Oh, is that
in
right?
all fairness, it was some dirty fighting tactics. It was some dirty fighting tactics that won the war for independence.
No, they just didn't want to deal with Roanoke anymore.
All I'll say is, unlike a lot of other countries in the world, we allowed America to have its independence far too early. They weren't civilized when we left.
We're still not, so
No, I guess that's true.
So this is what happens when kids move out as teenagers.
yeah, basically. But
What do we vote
out
for in the
we-
chat, by the way?
We give a lot of a hard time to Americans, but we actually do really like you all. You
You
guys
like
are
the ones that you know.
It's like some of us are okay.
The Liquid Death thing, it reminds me of that time that somebody came out with that paper that talks about how many people die every year of dihydrogen monoxide. And there was like a couple politicians that came rallying out against it. Fucking water, the hydrogen monoxide. There you go. So, yeah.
Well, I think
Bobby Mac is waiting in the background, and I will bring him in a second. But
Excellent.
You can
before I
drop-
do that, I've got a
Drop me
very
in, Jen.
special. I've got a very special video to play. So it's going to take mucking around, and I just realised it's going to do weird things on the stream. But tough, you can live with it, people who are watching the stream, because I've got no other way to play it at the moment, so that everyone can see it. So
I have something to share in a minute just before you drop me as well. But
And we'll bring
So-
everybody back in too. So.
yeah,
Oh, not her, not the crazy drunk lady.
Oh, don't start, Chris.
Happy birthday, honey. I love you lots. No words can describe on how amazing you are and how much you have impacted my life. Like you said, never boring. Have a great night. Love you heaps.
What a sweet lady she is, with impeccable taste.
You know that has
Yeah.
taste. For anybody who doesn't know, that is my best friend and his wife, Lissy, who couldn't be here tonight because she has to work. But
no,
she just
can
wanted
I
to do something.
can I just draw people to the attention of the guy on the right of this picture?
That's Jay again, isn't it?
Is that Jay or is that Lemmy from Motorhead? We can't say.
No.
Jay, I've actually got to say, all jokes aside, I actually kind of like the new look there, my friend. So
I'm loving it. How good is it?
Yeah. it's awesome.
all right,
I don't know if you got someone else wanting to come in, Jen, or drop.
I
for a
do.
couple
I
more.
will drop you out, Jeff, for a bit, and I'll get Bobby in. Hey, Bobby.
Bobby!
Hello. How are we? All right.
That one,
Goodly.
brother.
Cheers. Happy birthday, Chris. Happy birthday, Sam, in the background.
What you drinking, Bobby?
Oh,
Yeah, let's do that right there.
I'm drinking Red Stripe, a Jamaican
Sam's
beer.
wandered off.
It's a great
I
koozie.
think I've heard of that.
Sorry.
Not better than fucking Heineken. Jesus.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good, that Red Stripe, and but I do enjoy the new look as well, Jay. It took me a wee while to realise that it was actually you. I wasn't too sure. You look like some sort of 80s action figure that you could like bend. You know what I mean, with that tank top on, the hair and the mustache. You know what I mean, like a Stretch Armstrong, the porn virgin.
Hang on. I'm thinking, are you talking about G.I. Jay?
G.I. Jay.
The porn version of a Stretch Armstrong is still just called Stretch Armstrong, I'm pretty sure.
It's just a dick that gets bigger, not the rest of it.
We'll take your word for that.
Technically, I think I'm G.I. Jane, because doesn't she have doesn't she tell someone to suck her dick during that movie? Is that a G.I.
Don't
Jane
know.
quote?
I don't know.
I think it is. No, I said G.I. J.
Oh, G.I. J, okay.
G.I. Jay.
Either
Yeah,
way,
it's not G.I. Jane, is it? Anyway, isn't the character named something else? Isn't that Tank Girl
No,
or something?
G.I. Jane
Tank
was
Girl, that's what it is.
Tank Girl.
No, that's
no, G.I. Jane was Demi Moore.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of those movies. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but you'd have to shave all your hair off. You'd have to go method acting and shave all your hair off, and I don't know if I'm willing to do that. So.
All right, if you want to drop me out for a second, because the chat has spoken, I'm going to get myself a beverage that is actually not going to have people look at me as if I'm this sad individual.
Ashamedly.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll bring the other birthday boy in.
Yeah, bring Sam in. Bring Sam in.
So the correct answer is Jay. Looks like Man at Arms from He-Man.
There you go. He-Man.
Because of the mustache, it's the right
Yep.
collar, it's the right everything.
Yep,
Just need the
there you
helmet.
go.
There's
Oh,
that gamer. There's a Fortnite gamer. I want to say like Dr. Disaster or something like that. Or
Yeah, where's the glasses?
yes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Supposedly his house got shot up. Actually, did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
when he was doing a live stream, his house was getting shot at.
If you trimmed your hair, Jay, you'd look like Magnum PI.
Oh.
That's
me wavy. Gross.
About Tom Selleck.
Yeah, a bit of Tom Selleck.
I'd be good with it.
Surprisingly okay with that. Surprisingly okay.
Hey, I remember watching Magnum back in the '80s, so I'm okay with that.
So Sam, did
Yeah, I
you
used
do
to get,
anything special for your birthday?
No. Quite
No.
one.
Is it?
Quite one.
Didn't do anything. So
My
when
wife-
was your birthday? Sorry, Sunday coming up or last Sunday?
No, pass. Back on the
Last
14th.
Sunday, past. Okay, yeah, okay.
But my wife's
how old
birthday
did you
is on
turn?
the 21st. I turned 21.
Good on you, man. You're looking well. You're aging well.
The correct way of expressing it would be, what is it? The 15th anniversary of my 21st birthday.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, no, my wife's birthday is on the 21st of July, so we're probably going to just do something together since we're in the process of trying to put a deposit on a house, so we're not spending much money where we can. So
Not splashing out too much.
yeah,
Plus, as you said, everything just started opening up anyway, so it's not like you could have planned anything.
yeah, we've got $1,000. Like we meant to go to Japan in October this year, and so we've got a voucher of credit for a flight and whatever else, and we're just looking at other places to go in Australia maybe. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'd say come to America and visit us, but you don't want to do that right now.
No.
I don't even think
I don't
Americans
wanna
want
do
to be
it
in
at all.
America.
Yeah, that's definitely accurate. I'm just glad I'm in Oregon instead of in Texas these days. Like,
Hey, look at where I live. Look what's happening to Atlanta.
If traveling was a thing and our Smart Traveler website was up to date, I'd be interested to see if civil unrest was like a warning for America at the moment.
I know
Yeah,
it's a reason that packages are delayed with FedEx. Like if you go on the FedEx
Crazy.
website when you're tracking a package, it says like civil unrest may delay your package or something like that, and I'm just all like, oh, that's cool.
Are the murder hornets still a thing at the moment, or have they stopped?
They
So
were
they're
never
ready to flood by now, aren't you?
they've stopped. Yeah, they've just disappeared, much like coronavirus.
They were never really, I mean, it wasn't really a thing. I mean, they exist, and it was a big deal because of their name. And according to my friend Brainbug, that it wasn't as big a deal as people were making out to be. He knows a shit ton about bugs, so I'm going to go with what he said.
Okay, that's good.
It's like when in doubt, just trust Brainbug. That's just generally good advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We
Yeah, if
have
you
another
wanna-
guest in the background.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
if you wanna drop me out, I'm
was-
gonna. Nathaniel was gonna be on later, so I'm gonna send him the link over. We were doing it separately. We didn't want to do it separately at the same time.
Fair enough. All
Sorry.
right, I'm going to drop you down in the background for a bit, and I'm going to bring Mero in. I'm going to drop myself back out so I can bring Chris in as well. So Mero can talk to Chris. So, hey, Mero.
Hey! Hey! Hello! Hey!
How goes?
How's it going?
Hey! Feliz cumpleaños, mi amigo! Woo!
Amigos, two of them.
Oh, ¿quién?
Sam's birthday as well.
Ah.
His birthday was Sunday, yeah.
Feliz cumpleaños también. Y
No te
si
creas
quieres,
demasiado.
si quieres, puedo hablar todo en español, si quieres. Hola, Thala, ¿cómo estás?
What are you drinking, Nero?
Sangria, by the sound of it.
Drinking sleep?
I'm drinking a lack of sleep. Sleep deprivation is my drug of choice tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of us with that problem right now.
Yeah, it's everyone's favorite. Why are you still looking for food? You should not be.
I went and grabbed a Willie the Boatman, Little Louie.
That is not Scotch.
Scotch will come later.
Okay. So he's
And in all fairness, I didn't have any
on.
Scotch. I only have whiskey.
Okay.
So
I'll
what-
let you off, mate.
So what did you two get for your birthdays?
Us.
This is
Actually,
it.
no, I did get a Steamed Hams t-shirt.
Steamed hams.
From
Yeah.
the from the Acton Count.
Simpsons-y. Yeah, I was gonna say. Is that why the Simpsons today?
10 hours of steam. Should
I
last
was
all-
thinking slap ham.
I got a lamp. That was exciting.
It's been a few weeks since you've been on here, Mara. What have you been up to? Aside from all the work.
Pretty much all the work. I mean, I think on Monday I had a really good stream with Wolf the Red where we convinced everybody that he was a genuine flat earther. And we were arguing about whether Australia existed.
Mm-hmm.
So
you didn't let the secret out, did you?
Shit.
Oh shit, you did.
Wait, is the secret that you do or that you don't exist?
Yes.
Oh, well, we'd have to kill you.
Fuck you.
We'd have to kill you. In that case.
I understand.
You know what? Does Australia exist? Let's ask a flat earther.
Hey.
Here we got one on the stream.
Well, I would say yes because I live here. So that's pretty much my only answer.
Hey, there's a guy out there that says London doesn't exist, and he lives in London.
I think I've maybe heard about that.
There are people in America that don't think California is part of America. So I remember somebody saying they wanted to move to California because they didn't want to live in the States anymore. So
there's people in America that doesn't think that Puerto Rico is a part of America.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of them actually. So
Jay's not in the room, but I just want to correct him on something. There's someone in London who says that London doesn't exist. It's people saying London shouldn't exist, which is objectively objectively true.
London or the city of London?
The city of London should not exist. I hate the place.
Yeah,
I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah. It's all right for a day or two. After about 2 days of London, I'm kind of like, no, I've had enough.
All I can say is the Earth is donut shaped, and England doesn't exist.
Well, technically, it's the United Kingdom. So yeah, he's got a point there, actually.
No. Well, Scotland's real. Scotland, Wales, all real. Ireland,
yeah.
Northern Ireland doesn't.
Chris, I was born in Scotland. I can get behind that statement.
All right, well, there we go. Well, I'd ask who's your team, but I know who your team is. So it's just the first thing you ask a Scotsman: who's your team?
If I'm going to say Scottish teams, it'd be Dunfermline Athletic. So,
okay,
yeah. Okay.
They're no Partick Thistle, but they're okay.
No.
The sports talk is always fun.
Yeah.
You know what I think is cool? It's like the secular birthday week because first was Sam's on Sunday, and then Chris's on Tuesday. Today is Mr. Bear Atheist's birthday, and then next Wednesday is Critical Cripple's birthday. But everybody's birthday is in a little over a week's time. So
nice. I need you to remind me, Amanda, to send me messages on the correct day to say this is okay. Thank you, because I just missed all of that.
Amanda, send it the day before because otherwise, it could really throw with the time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm going to say 2 days before for Amanda because that was
2 days. Did you know that on my birthday, Mara was the first one? In fact, she wished me a happy birthday literally at midnight on my birthday. She was the first one to say happy birthday to me. I'll take care of her for this one.
To be fair, it'd be like middle of the morning for Mero, though.
What was that? Sorry?
I say it'd be quite late in the day for Mero, technically, though, Amanda. So just to be.
No, it was. She made sure it was my time. Yeah.
Was it? Oh, I thought it was like midnight my time.
Nope, it was midnight my time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Exactly midnight. It was very.
I found this on like the old Facebook thing or whatever that I've got a few Aussie friends on Facebook, and I always get like the birthday wish like a day early from them. So
yeah. Well, you know it's your 36 hours worth of your birthday. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Dateline to Dateline.
Yeah.
It works out pretty well. So
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it today, do it all again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we can all commiserate, us Aussies that have birthdays around this week, that we no longer get the fucking Queen's birthday as a almost guaranteed long weekend every year or two.
Neither do we.
No, but it used to be around this time of the year, the Queen's birthday. And for years of my life, I could rely on that. I'm going on a holiday for my birthday, and I've got one free day off. Not even.
Why did they change it or something? I don't care about the Queen's birthday. But...
It got changed because there was not enough public holidays at the end of the year. So October, and then there was
There needs
it was the Queen's birthday holiday was Monday last week.
They change it every couple of years at the moment, so they tried to push it to October, and then there was complaints because people had planned for it for the next few years, and so the intent is to basically push it back to like October or something. They might have switched it out with May Day.
They need to move May Day. I understand there's a lot of history around May Day, but I don't know how much people care about Australia, which is probably very little. But
you get May Day as well. It's a public holiday.
We get May Day. Yeah, we get May Day, but it's we have Easter, Anzac Day, and May Day all within a month,
and that's so not far after Australia Day either.
Yeah, and Australia Day. It's like Australia Day a month, then Easter. Not even a month. Like
we don't get May Day in New South Wales.
Really? We do, and Queenslanders do. And anyway, but the thing is, it's like with a really late Easter, because Easter's based on the lunar calendar, with a really late Easter, you can have like a week off, then a public holiday, and then the following week it's a public holiday. So you've got like 6 public holidays in the space of 3 weeks, and then nothing for the rest of the year. So it's like May Day needs to be in October.
We have a very similar thing in the UK, because we get Easter, May Day, then they've been talking about there's a bit of a push for people in England to get St George's Day, but then it's like they'd only move May Day. They only get rid of May Day to get St George's Day, so I see that as a bit pointless because they're only like a week apart. Then we get something called the Spring Bank Holiday, which is in the mid to late May. Then we don't get another one till the end of August, and that's pretty much the end of our public holidays for the year.
Yeah, and then you've got Christmas and New Year's, which is
Christmas, Boxing Day, Christmas, Boxing Day, New Year's Day, the others for us.
Yeah. So
do you guys celebrate Boxing Day as well in Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, we call that National Shopping and Hangover Day.
Yeah, it's National Shopping and Hangover Day. It's like
sounds like a plan, I guess. I don't know why we don't have that. Well, we have National Shopping Day is Black Friday for us. So
yeah, we're starting to get we're starting to get Black Fridays.
Yeah. Apparently it's seeping out to the rest of the world. You're welcome.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And we're getting Halloween. Like when I was growing up, we didn't really have Halloween, and now it
was like a taboo subject. It's American crap, and all the oldies would get really angry about it, and
radio
about it, and
growing up in the UK, it was very popular to celebrate Halloween. Back in the 80s and stuff like that, it was 80s and 90s. It was popular to celebrate Halloween. Yeah. So I don't know what it's like there at the moment. Is it still celebrated much, Jeff, or in the UK?
Not so much. I when I was in the when I was a pagan. That was a big thing. Samhain, which the old pagan name for it. Yeah, that was very much big celebrated thing. Beltane, which is obviously May Day. Those were big days for people who were pagans. I mean, there is like a big Beltane festival every year in the county that I live in, which you used to go to, and this is the big thing where they burn the old Wicker Man, which is a lot of which
is that my daughter?
Sorry. I hate that. I hate both versions of that movie because they just they make a whole mockery of that that whole
But
thing.
there's more than one version of that movie.
Yeah, there's a 70s version and then like
Yeah.
whatever.
It's the
Nicolas Cage version.
It's the really bad
Edward Woodward, I think his name was.
Edward Woodward and Christopher Lee.
Yeah, I liked that one. I liked it. It was really cheesy, but it was good.
The good thing was you got to see Britt Eklund dancing naked. That was the good thing about it.
What do you call a guy with a wooden leg? Edward. Like with a wooden head. Edward. What do you call a guy with 3 wooden heads? Edward Woodward.
Hey. Oh, easy, Bobby.
Bobby just gave up. He just raged.
Yep, you got him. I was going to say that one would have worked. I reckon if Scummer had said it. Edward.
Oh, well, there you go.
No,
Jeff,
no,
go
that's
ahead.
good. No, well, it's a bit pointless now. You've already told the joke, Mara.
Sorry.
You can't repeat a joke twice. It doesn't work.
Well, now Jeff knows the joke. He can.
No, I can use it on someone else. I can actually say though, we're talking about like in my religion, there's actually a holiday that goes from 27th of February to 6th of March called Hangover. So includes National Kahula Day, culminating with the day of the dude. So,
Could you can you send me the information for this religion, please? Because
it's Dudism. You see,
You had quite the hangover the other day, Chris. Like a literal all-day hangover.
Oh, that would be an understatement if there ever was one.
Did you take vitamin B?
No, because I wasn't expecting that I was going to have the evening I had. My father came to town and we all went out for dinner, and the plan was me and him would have a couple of drinks afterwards, and then I'd head home at some reasonable hour. Anyway, at about midnight, I was singing karaoke, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, and then he was up with me till like 2:30 in the morning. So.
Oh yeah, we were drunk chatting, and I was on fire. I was on fire. Yeah.
I love drunk Chris chats. They're quite wonderful.
I'm sure they are. But it's it was it was good fun. You know, it's just nice to be able to go out again. It's nice to be able to go and do a pub crawl. You know, it's weird but good. But yeah, anyway, there was a lot of drinking that went on, and my head pounded for a day, and I felt very sorry for myself and vowed I would never drink again. And a few people said, "Yeah, I'll give you till Friday," and good call.
Accurate. That's a Wookiee koozie, ain't it?
That is a Wookiee.
Ooh, nice.
I am.
I'm sure that the one that Rob was using before is from my place.
I have a bunch of geeky tikis that I really love.
Oh, no.
The favorite one is my Chewbacca one, of course, because I love
You're a
the
Star Wars
Oh
fan.
no, I've just heard some bad news. Do you guys know Ian Holmes, the actor from Lord of the Rings, plays?
Yeah.
What's just happened? Oh.
Ian Holmes. He died.
When?
Oh no.
Just come through. He was 88, but yeah, he's obviously like.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah. Jen was just about to drop me and come in, and then that came across my screen. So that's bad news.
Aww.
It's not good. It's not good. We lost Dame Vera Lynn yesterday as well. It's not a good week.
Maybe this is like this month's version, like the bad shit happening in 2020 for this month. It's just there's going to be a spate of celebrity deaths.
Well,
it's going to be like 2016, but like compacted into a month.
Somebody check on Betty White.
All right.
I know, right?
Someone check on Trump.
Jen, drop me now. Come in for a few, right? Just drop me
You
out.
just look so happy saying that, Mero.
You don't even fucking live here, Mero. So come on.
She's a big fan. I mean, you know, she like many people do. You know, big fans of your great president.
Couldn't even keep a straight
What?
face saying that.
Obama.
Can you believe that he actually said the other day that he thinks that people are wearing masks just to spite him? Not to
Yeah, I
keep us
can
from
believe
getting
that.
sick.
I can believe he'd say that. Yes.
Oh, what
Yeah,
a
but the
psychopath.
problem is, he said that, and then they asked Joe Biden to comment, and he said, "Huh? What's a mask?" So I mean, you don't have a lot of choice there. I mean, really.
No,
Don't.
we
Really
don't.
don't.
So.
I just
Yeah,
realized
Chad.
I'd muted myself from the stream.
Actually, you know what? There's a big thing of wrestlers going into politics. I'm thinking vote one Jake the Snake.
It's got my vote.
Actually, no. I've seen footage of him, and he actually uses a live snake as a prop. And
Yeah.
as a snake lover, I fucking hate that. That guy should be arrested for animal cruelty.
Yeah,
So
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, I watched him alive whipping on this snake. This
Oh,
snake.
Jesus Christ, superstar. What?
Damien.
What?
I mean, Damien.
The snake's name is Damien.
Damien.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
like,
I don't care. Like the shit that he does to that snake. That's just. I know what snakes are like. I know their how they work and what. Ugh, no, I'm angry. It makes me angry knowing he does that, and I think it's bad. Anyway, I am absolutely fucking tired, to be honest with you. If you haven't noticed. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Chris and
Happy New Year.
Sam.
Was that purposeful?
No.
I'll drop Jay down
I
for a
thought it was
bit
a
just so you can say
bad
say bye to Sam.
Well,
Before you
hang
go.
on,
Go on, Jay.
I'm gonna take off too. I got some stuff I gotta do still. But happy birthday, Chris! Happy birthday, Sam!
All right, I'll drop me down whilst you do that. That makes more sense. Then I'll bring Sam.
Cool. We can bitch about Jen.
Yeah.
But I can still talk
No,
to the
I
stream.
wanted to say before I took off, happy birthday to both of you. It's been a fun journey, and I can't wait to see where we go from here.
Well, hell yeah.
Cheers.
So,
it
but
was
you guys,
surprising.
you guys have fun. Enjoy yourself. I gotta run. I got some stuff I need to take care of. So,
Cheers, brother.
Take it easy, man.
be water,
see
my
ya.
friends.
Bye, Jay.
Jesus.
Jay. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, you are doing great, Nara.
Have a really, really lovely Easter and a wonderful Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Before I go, I just want to say I achieved a milestone this week for my channel. I got monetized.
Yay! Congratulations!
So far, I've earned 11 cents, maybe.
Woo-woo!
Yay!
Something.
Somebody buy a new cardboard cutout notcher. A new cardboard cutout notcher with that.
I could probably just draw a smiley face on a piece of cardboard and have that as notcher. Like, that'd be free.
There you go.
There we go. But yeah, woo.
Congratulations.
No, that's never going to happen. Anyway, so that was just something, and I can't see who's in the chat, so everyone who's watched my shit, thank you. And if you haven't watched my shit, well, fuck you too. No, I'm joking. Anyway, have a fantastic Halloween, and I will talk to you later. See you later. Love you. Bye.
Yeah. You really need to get some sleep, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
That was really loud. Sorry.
She completely missed my Jake the Snake joke. That's okay. It's cool.
No, but speaking of wrestlers that don't belong, there is this guy that is like a consultant or something for Fox News, and he's an old wrestler or whatever, and he comes on and he is like he speaks about everything. He even came on a couple weeks ago because I see it every once in a while. My parents are always playing it, and he was talking about how climate change wasn't real. So here's this guy who's only claim to fame as being a moderately popular wrestler. I'd never heard of him, although I don't really watch wrestling.
Who is it?
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll look it up. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. But the fact that
I think I know who it is, and I'll,
what?
I was going to say I think I know who it might be. I think it might be the Funkasaurus.
The Funkasaurus.
I don't know, but it's just really bugging
That
me
sounds like a
that-
name you can trust.
Here, let me
Is
look
it,
it up.
Yeah,
George
Tyrus' name.
Murdoch? Brodus
That's
Clay,
him.
Tyrus. I can't tell which one
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. Okay, WWE is Brodus Clay. Total Nonstop Action, which I've never even heard of, as Tyrus.
Oh, yeah. TNA, yeah.
Vaguely.
Tyrus. That's his name. Look, yeah. He was a WWE wrestler. His real name is George Murdoch, but he comes on as the expert for lots of stuff. So he comes, like I said, when he was talking about climate change, that really pissed me off. But I thought maybe they brought, like, I didn't know who he was, so they brought him on for that, and they mentioned he was a wrestler. And then I saw him like a week later talking about hydroxychloroquine, and so he's just their in-house famous guy that they bring in to spout his bullshit that is never real. So
Well, here we go. I'll bring him. I'll bring some pictures of the Funkasaurus up so you can see.
We have a
him
special
in his,
guest.
in his prime.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi. Hey.
Okay.
Thought I quickly say, hang on one second.
You thought you quickly say, "Hang on 1 second." Okay.
Who calls and says, "Hang on, I'll just pop you on hold"?
My wife. That's too. Lucy Lou.
That's how you know someone's important.
So
How's your
that you
night?
know you can trust them.
You just missed all the fun, Lizzie. We were talking about the Funkasaurus.
I heard. Hang on.
The-
I'm just trying to get it so I don't get a... Am I echoing, guys?
No. Nope, you're perfect.
Oh, good.
And beautiful.
Beautiful.
to
Hello.
me, thanks, yeah.
I just thought I'd quickly stop in and say hi and enjoy the celebrations.
We're
How's the
trying.
A
road
little break
treating you?
between work.
How's the road
Jeff
treating
and
you?
I are drinking. We're having fun. And Jeff, but everybody else. Oh, no. Bobby is too. That's right.
Oh, by the way,
There
Lizzie,
you go. That's my drinking.
you know how I lost my my Star Wars beer holder? I found where it went.
Huh? You
You know
Wookiee
how I lost
one?
No, my Star Wars one.
Oh, Sam is too. Sorry, Sam. I forgot you were drinking as well.
Oh
Where
yeah.
was it,
Sam.
Chris?
Hey, Lucy.
I found it.
But where did you
Where was
find
it?
I think Bobby's got it.
What?
Yeah. Where was
I know
it?
what you're talking about.
Is that yours?
I don't know. Is that my one?
No, that's
That
mine. I
is-
got that. No,
that's
it's not. I got that
ours.
one. No, I got that one. Tracy bought me that one.
No.
No, I've got the same one. It's okay. Yeah, well, you can get them everywhere. That's right. I'm just stirring. Ours is probably still in the room.
Well, you got me paranoid now because I'm thinking maybe I did. Maybe you gave it to me, and I'm thinking maybe I took it with me one night. But who knows?
There was many a
Sorry,
takeaway. I don't really keep tabs, to be honest.
So,
It's mine
Lizzie,
now,
you
anyway.
started a new
It's mine
show.
now anyway.
Hang on
Right?
1 second.
Can you hear me, honey?
I can. I'm just trying to get rid of something.
Get rid of us?
Very quickly before I drop myself out again, thank you for making it, Lizzie. That was awesome. I did play your video, but it's so much better that you could be here.
Hey,
I'm going to drop myself back down
Yeah,
again so I can drop Jeff in for a bit.
Oh, you didn't have to drop yourself. Oh, I just thought.
Anyway, that's why I can't stand Jeff.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. How's it going, mate? All right.
Oh, Jeff back.
Yeah, no, I just knew you were talking wrestling for a moment, and I thought, oh, I've got to get in on this.
I did see that. I mean, we were talking about the Funkasaurus.
The Funkasaurus. You mean this dude here? Who's was sharing?
I don't know. I've been trying to share, but Jen never put mine
Jen,
up. So
I've shared something, Jen, sir.
Let-
Well,
let-
why
put-
we
put
have
his up.
Lizzie,
Oh,
why don't
no,
you tell
no,
us about
not-
your new show?
hang on,
Hold
hang
on.
on.
Let
Just
me-
take me out for a second.
Hold on, let me try another screen there, Jen.
Yeah, I'll drop mine out, and you bring yours in.
Yeah.
Incidentally, the Funkasaurus, who's the climate change expert on Fox News, also used to be a bodyguard for Snoop Dogg.
This guy.
That guy. That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when I first heard Fox News, I assumed it was JBL, because I know he used to get on there quite a lot back in the day. And to be fair to him, I mean, okay, I do not agree with the man's politics whatsoever, but he is very, very knowledgeable. He is a very, very knowledgeable guy about like the stock markets and stuff. He's very smart on that stuff. I think
he's very generic on it.
Yeah.
Very generic.
Yeah, if you're generic enough, you can be an expert on pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? Well, there is one WWE Hall of Famer they talk about on Fox News a lot.
Oh.
Donald Trump.
Who's that?
Donald Trump, of course. Yes.
Trump's in the Hall of Fame. He's a WWE Hall of Famer.
There you go. America's president once took the Stone Cold Stunner.
No, but he did beat up Vince McMahon and shaved his head. He had Bobby Lashley fighting for him against Umaga.
That's right, yeah.
WrestleMania, I'm thinking WrestleMania 26, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. It was,
I remember something like that. I remember him being on and the really bad acting job that he did, and anything to get a little notoriety. So.
He's a self-promoter.
I did put a I did put a comment in the chat earlier. I don't know if Mero saw it or not, but Jake the Snake. He actually lived in England for a while, and he was arrested for mistreating a snake that he actually owned at the time. Because the guy isn't really trained to handle or look after snakes. A lot of the time when he was actually wrestling for WWE or whatever, they just provided the snake for him to kind of come out to the ring with or whatever. But
it was always a different one.
Yeah, it was always a different one. But when he was living in England, he actually had his own snake for a while, and he was actually arrested for mistreating the snake. And bear in mind that this was the early 2000s, so he was still very, very highly into his drug and alcohol problems.
No, I don't agree with anybody using animals for entertainment purposes like that. I think it's kind of fucked. So anyway, as I was saying, Lucy, tell us about your show.
Yesy. Pardon?
Tell us about your show, please.
Can't hear you. Sorry. For some reason, I've got
While that's happening, I'm going to share a picture of Jake the Snake with his snake biting Randy Savage. Classic from the day.
Oh, good. Do you know what? That was uncomfortable to watch.
And it was real. It actually happened.
Yeah, they apparently there's a story that that Savage made Jake take a bite from the snake backstage because he wanted to prove.
Yeah, this is the actual story. Yeah,
that it was devenomized. This was a king. He was literally bitten by a king cobra on.
Well, that's what they do with those like revivals and stuff. Is before how they handle the snakes and act like it's God keeping them from getting bitten.
No, but Christians are immune to snakes.
They milk the snakes so that if they do get bit, they don't die. Pretty much.
No, it's the
I
power
have
of
heard
Jesus.
some of them dying, though. I have heard of some of them dying.
Oh yeah, some of
Power
them
of
do.
Jesus.
Power of Jesus. Hallelujah.
Work that well.
Praise the Lord.
Jesus.
Well,
Jesus.
here's actually saying that Jesus. Now, is Jesus a thing anymore now that Jay's got rid of the beard?
Eventually, Jesus will be again, because he always will be. He always was. He always was. He always is. And he always will be
until his resurrection.
For his weird resurrection. My dog is laying on my computer right now.
I noticed the camera angle changed slightly there.
Yeah, laying right here on the keyboard. Can you get off, please? Listening? Did she hear me yet?
No.
I can. It's just really quiet for some reason. I can't get my my headphones to work.
I was just asking you to tell us about your new show.
Well, so
when I get my when I get time and get my act together, Jen and I are doing a Harry Potter stream, just talking about the books and impacts that it's had in our lives, and the younger generations and the world that JK created for just imagination, basically, and just to delve into that and how much it could mean to so many younger people, really, to start with.
Very cool.
Yeah,
obviously,
when Darth Vader fought Saruman at the castle, it was really good, and you know, Voldemort is a really good guy.
Yeah, a little bit.
I went to see I went to see the last ever Harry Potter movie in 3D, and I was very disappointed with it. The screen was all fuzzy, and then everyone around me was wearing those stupid Harry Potter glasses. I didn't understand the whole thing.
Oh, annoying when that happens.
Yeah. I'll just say that.
Start with Hedwig dying.
To be clear though, Lissy, obviously you're just to clarify in case anyone's watching, you guys are literally just talking about the books and nothing obviously else was just going on with JK at the moment. So just to clarify that.
We're just discussing the books. We're not discussing outside of the books, because there's just so much political stuff that you can delve into that revolving around her. Just talking about the world that she created.
It's about the stories and the impact rather than it'd be like, you know, doing a stream on Star Wars and talking about what George Lucas had for breakfast.
Yeah, you can separate the stories out from the authors. You know.
Sometimes you got to separate the art from the artist at times.
Exactly.
And
that's not.
I mean, there's a lot of bands whose music I love, but like a lot of what they stand for, personally, I don't agree with. But that doesn't mean that their art is any less valuable.
Well, actually, I want to ask a Harry Potter question, and since we've got some Harry Potter experts here, I want to do a snap poll, and I'll get everyone in the chat to do it as well. So a 1 for the first option, a 2 for the second option. Who's more evil? Press 1 for Voldemort, or 2 for the God of the Christian Bible. Who are we voting for? Who's more evil?
That was easy enough.
Well, I'm thinking 2's coming in.
You already know.
Okay.
Yeah, my friend Aliakai did a really good video about the huge long article that J.K. Rowling wrote that was basically defending her turfery. And I got to read the article, and it's so many times. There were times when I would have to stop recording and be all like, God damn it, J.K. Rowling, are you fucking serious? And Aliakai was all like, that just had me dying because you did it so many times and you were so frustrated with it. I'm just all like, I'm just so disappointed.
No, I get it. You have an overwhelming vote of 2 from everybody, Chris.
Well, it's
I'll just you know what? On an atheist stream, God wins.
Yeah.
So
well, I'll just say, obviously, on a lot of the stuff like J.K. Rowling has said recently, I have a very, very similar thing with like Graham Linehan. That a lot of the comedy he's written is awesome, but his views on that subject on trans people are awful. But my opinion, but still, doesn't mean a lot of the comedy he's written was really good.
Who was that? Graham Linehan again? I recognise his name.
Father Ted, Black Books.
Yes, yeah. I used to love Father Ted. Yeah. So that's all because a lot of shows now are also being stopped due to offensive material, like Little Britain, Mighty Boosh, League of Gentlemen.
Well, the Chris Lee series in Australia, which is ridiculous because he's sorry, Rob. Sorry, Bobby.
No. Carry on. You're talking about Summer Heights, Chris.
Yeah, all the Chris Lilly stuff has been cancelled because he portrays a few other ethnic cultures within Australia. So yeah,
Lissy, I was going to say I don't know if you've heard this one, that the RFU in England are looking, or at least talking about banning the singing of Sweet Chariot at England games because of its connections to slavery. Because obviously it was a slave song that somewhere along the lines that England adopted as their rugby kind of anthem. And I just think it's kind of silly because it was actually it was sort of sung originally in a very kind of, I suppose it was meant in a very respectful way, that when the English rugby team first had some black players in the team, when they'd score, the songs, they'd start singing the songs "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," and it's just become like the England rugby anthem since then. And I kind of think I don't think that song's like disrespectful in any way to black people. I mean, because one of the first sort of black superstars in rugby was actually rugby league, and I think Chris would be familiar with him because I think he played for the Dragons for a year or two. Martin Afire.
Oh, Chariots of Fire.
Yeah, no, it's just
Chariots. He was brilliant.
Yeah,
he was a league, not union though.
He played union towards the end of his career, but he was one of the first black superstars of like rugby in the UK of either code.
Yeah, you see. Look, I think the thing is, I think you can find offence at pretty much anything if you look deep enough into history. I heard an argument made today that if by some of the standards that are being applied, you could say that, well, the Guardian newspaper that was founded by a slave owner, cancel that. Planned Parenthood, the founder of that, had some fairly horrific ideas on eugenics. Do we cancel that? Where do you? And the thing is, where do you draw the line? Because it's as horrible as history is. What we've got to remember is people were a product of their times and the environment that they grew up in, and for us to judge them by, I think there are certain things that absolutely are always wrong, and I think there are certain things that you can judge by modern standards. But I think if you were to judge everyone and everything by 2020, I see an issue with
I see.
Everything sucks in some shape, form, or fashion. Really.
Sorry, but just to compare that, like you're comparing cancelling organisations like Planned Parenthood or the Guardian to removing certain iconography that may not provide value to society in 2020, like saying, "Hey, no Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." I'm not making a statement on whether this is right or wrong because I don't know enough about the sport in that country. But we're not saying no rugby. They're saying, "Hey, maybe this isn't something that has a place in rugby."
Yeah, there's a reason that it's touchy. It has to do with appropriation.
I get the thing with appropriation with this, but this was not this. I mean, that song was never intended. Was never like a racist sort of state. I mean, I find that I'd be more comfortable with a lot of other things being stamped on in soccer terraces in the UK than I would that. Because there's still stuff that I hear chanted, which is openly and blatantly racist. I'd sooner see that sort of thing stamped on than I would something like Sweet Chariot being sung at rugby.
And I think it's important to remember what can be offensive in one country may not be in another. So, for instance, there's things that, and it's something that frustrates the hell out of me because, unfortunately, in Australia we tend to adopt a lot of American stuff. And something that will be deeply offensive to someone in the US can have a completely different meaning in Australia or in the UK or somewhere else. And I think part of the challenge of being a global society is, yes, we have to recognize that, but I think we also need to recognize the context in which it comes rather than just yell out cancel, cancel, cancel every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Like I know I'm like hugely not a fan of the C word, which I don't even like saying it, which I know is used freely, pretty freely as I guess a term of endearment. Hi. In Australia.
Hi, Daniel.
That's so cute.
You talking about the C word that all men find offensive.
What,
commitment?
Chris?
Commitment.
Hey.
No, I mean it's that's just not. It's not a word that I like personally.
Yeah, we know the one you're talking about.
I know it's different in other cultures. I just
Starts with a C, ends in a T.
Yeah.
See you next Tuesday.
Let's just say I won't say I never use it because I have used it, but generally if I use it, that means that if I'm calling someone that, it means I really don't like them if I'm calling someone that.
I see. It's different here. Like if I were to call someone,
and different here, it means that you're bloody awesome.
You're a good that. It's
You're mad.
Yeah, mad.
I get that. I've never had a huge problem with it. I've noticed in Australia and the UK, it's used more frequently than it is here. Here in America, I've had people that won't talk to you if you use it. Will lose their minds.
You know what? It's a religious hangover. It's a religious hangover. Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. And because when you think about it, why are words naughty or swear? It comes from the curse word, and I mean. We're not going to get cursed.
And I'd say there's a connotation with it as well that's maybe different from, like, in America. Magic, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. That insult is generally laid at women a lot of the time in America. Yep. I'd say in the United Kingdom, 90% of the time, that insult is laid at guys.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
It's got the same meaning.
For us, it's the guys as well.
But it's got the same meaning, but no one would really dream of referring to a woman by that word.
Mm-hmm. Unless you really fucking hate them.
So I don't tend to refer to anyone like that unless I have a very strong dislike for them, and I'm not. I try to not use that word, but I'm not perfect. But generally, yes, if I use that word, it means that someone has done something really serious to piss me off.
Yeah. And I don't mean to ever tell somebody you shouldn't use that word. That's just my personal choice to not use it. Y'all do you.
Understandable.
Which sounds a little passive aggressive, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be.
I think because I think it is worth understanding though, because I mean, while I could use that as a term of endearment to someone, I've got to be aware that when I'm dealing with people in other cultures, and the American culture, the British culture are other cultures. You've got to be aware of that.
Yeah,
be really careful.
Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of giving a shit about other people, which is such a a novel concept to people sometimes. But
yeah, be aware of them.
Yeah, exactly. So,
going back to what Jeff was saying with regarding Sweet Chariots, I think our terminology and our meaning for certain terms and words and how they're used these days, like going back to a cartoon, going back to the Flintstones, when they're using the line having a gay old time. You use that now and people get so offended by that, but back then it meant happy.
Yeah.
So we're going through Sweet Chariots for the English rugby means it's a sign of respect and honor. So they're using something that had a different meaning back in slavery times, but they've modernized it and they've modernized their meaning for it. And it's meant to be an uplifting song for them. Yeah. That's my opinion, my thoughts.
My understanding
on that matter.
My understanding of the history of that song is that it was actually written and sung, literally by slaves on the plantations as a kind of uplifting kind of, which, if you know a bit of history of slavery in America, in a way, it was like a very subtle form of resistance in a way. And actually it was very active resistance in a way as well, that sometimes songs were kind of like a way of spreading coded messages and so on. So there's a lot of interesting sort of history if you read into slavery in the United States. So I don't see necessarily something like that being used as being offensive myself. But then, who am I to tell? But at the same time, I've also got that view of who am I to tell like a black person what they should and shouldn't be offended by. I don't really feel I have the place to do that. I feel probably it's, you know, ultimately it's the people who are most affected by it that should be the arbiters on whether these things are not offensive to them, I think.
Yeah. Agreed. And it doesn't cost anything to like amend how you're doing something and stuff. Like it may be a hard habit to break and stuff like that, but it doesn't, you know, it's like in situations like this where it's, you know, such a big deal and it's kind of a culture shift. It's understandable that it might be something that's a little more like, you know, people are apprehensive about. But you know, if it's on a more personal level, then it's all like,
yeah.
We've got.
You can't tell other people what can and cannot offend them.
No, not at all. No, I mean, you know, it's. I mean, obviously, I dealt with this on like even like a little thing like like at workplace level. I was a union steward for 8 years where I work, and I've been a deputy union steward for the last 5. So I sort of stepped back and just took a bit more of a supporting role. You know, yeah, I mean, it's even like it's always a very difficult balancing act that, yeah, what's offensive to what might be banter to one person could be very deeply offensive to another. It is very difficult to negotiate these things. I think one of the problems with just cancelling these kind of things is that you end up masking the problem rather than addressing it, I think. Now, in terms of statues and stuff like that, now I don't know necessarily that there's any inherent value of glorifying people who profited off of slavery or exploitation. I don't know. I mean, I'd sooner see those statues removed. Now, don't necessarily agree with like ripping them down and throwing them in the river kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know what that accomplishes, honestly. But I would sooner see those sort of things removed. However, if it's just, I'm just trying to formulate this correctly here, that if it's just covering up something to mask a problem, instead of addressing the problem, I think that then there's an issue. Now, some of you may know that I do these I've been doing these streams over the last month or 2 with Hissy covering the Asterix books, and there's no two ways about that some of the depictions of black people in those comics are racist caricatures. But at the same time,
I take what Hissy says with a grain of salt. In all fairness,
Asterix is well known, along with like Tintin and stuff from that time, to be very racist.
I got to say, that you know. I totally agree with her on this, and I actually, if you see them, there's no two ways about it. The caricatures are racist. However, you also realise that you've got to contextualise that, and contextualisation is not making excuses for it. Understanding that it is a product of its times, and maybe explaining a little bit of the history of modern racism or something is the way to go with it.
And that would change how we interact with Asterix books, though. They would no longer function in the way that they're intended. You wouldn't put them next to Hungry Caterpillar on the bookshelf for kids.
No,
We put that
exactly,
somewhere
no.
else where they do get contextualized, and that's when we see things like statues that have originally been put up as a form of honor for people in the past. Maybe their position is no longer in the town square. You maybe taking them down is covering up the problem, but maybe leaving them up is signposting this is okay in our society and this is what our society values as well. So deciding which way that goes.
You wouldn't
I
let,
was just going to say,
you
I've got
wouldn't
to
have
drop out. I've got to step out for 2 minutes. So, Jen, if you want to drop me in, bring yourself in or something.
I have to go too because I have to get my butt back to work.
Break time's over.
Yeah. Thank you so much, honey. Yeah.
That's okay. It's having a little break, so I just thought I'd pop in and say hi, and now I'm going to drive my trusty office around and, talk to people.
I love you.
See ya.
Have fun, honey. Have fun, Amanda, Jen, Sam, Sue, everybody else.
You were a very lucky man, Chris. She is wonderful.
Yeah, she goes all right. She goes all right. Yeah. No, look, with what I will say with statues is, look, you wouldn't expect Germany to have a statue of Hitler up, and I think that's an extreme version. So I can understand that. I think the whole toppling of statues. The reason I have a problem with it is because the people who are doing it a lot of the time don't understand the history. Like, we've got people who are trying to attack the statues of James Cook in Australia. They're calling him a racist, calling him a colonizer, which he was none of. He was quite literally an explorer who had nothing to do with anything that happened 20 years later. I just think that education is better. And then if you've got enough education, people are going to want these things taken down anyway. But it's also, I mean, there was something. Winston Churchill was being called. His statue was attacked, and he was called a racist. Now, I'm no fan of Churchill generally, but I mean, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that Winston Churchill was a racist and judge him by modern standards. He was a snooty upper, class aristocratic drunk, but he was also the one who, I mean, he fought against Hitler. I mean, Hitler was probably the biggest racist in history, and that's who he was determined. He was the one who was speaking out against Hitler. That's why he took over from Chamberlain. Chamberlain kept appeasing, and Churchill was saying, "No, we've got to stop. We've got to stop. We've got to stop." And in the end, that's what happened. It's the English wanted to surrender to Germany in 1940. And Churchill was like, he refused. He wouldn't let them happen. He had that, we'll fight them on the beaches. We'll fight them in the streets. He wasn't. And there was a bit of patriotism there. But he was fighting against the most racist monster in history.
You look at the statues here that, the right is fighting to keep. And the thing is that it is, they say it's about, preserving history and whatnot. But it's not like these statues were.
It's not fair to say the right is fighting to keep. It's
when I say that, but you know what I mean. The far right in America. I don't mean conservatives in general.
There's people. You got to remember, the Southern Democrats haven't got the best history.
I think she's using coded language that we can understand for the purposes of the discussion, though.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is don't demonize the right, because I'm on the right.
You know that I don't. You know
Not
that
in the
when
America.
I'm
just
the alt-right in America. You know how much respect I have for you and your beliefs, your politics and stuff.
You don't know. Yeah, that's right.
But what I'm saying is they try to say it's about preserving history, but as if these statues, first of all, it's these Confederate statues are still traitors to our country and people that were hateful and kept slaves. But it's not like they were even erected right after their deaths or anything. They came around in both the 20s and like the 60s when the KKK came into power and wanted to say a big FU to the African Americans in our country, just like Stone Mountain, which is right down the street from me, which was actually built by the same guy who did Mount Rushmore. And Stone Mountain is the Mount Rushmore of Confederate soldiers. It's not about history. It's about it's literally about hate and racism, and to fight to keep that, I don't understand it. I really don't.
The thing that I've found the most compelling way to frame what's happening with the statues or history or whatever icon or whatever like behavior we want to get rid of and stuff is to ask, so look at the statues, people pulling them down, and we can go, well, that's vandalism, that's ridiculous, you shouldn't be doing that. Arguing over whether or not what they're doing is right is not as helpful, I think, as arguing why they feel the need to do that in a society that is meant to be protecting and meant to be making all of us better off and protect all of our interests. And yet we've got a group of people that feel like they need to go to these extremes to either feel heard or just feel like they're so disenfranchised. There was I forget the name, there was a video that Trevor Noah shared over the last week or so of a black woman in America talking about the idea that the social contract with minorities has been broken, and to ask people why they are not adhering to the social contract at the moment is ignoring the reason, instead of asking why should they bother to adhere to the social contract when they face all these challenges that we don't face as people that are not in a particular minority. And that, I think, is the better discussion than, was Captain Cook a racist or not? I think it's more important to worry about the feelings of the people who now feel like it is damaging to them, or, they have an issue. Why is there an issue there? Not let's try and justify Captain Cook because he's gone. We've got these people still here and they feel what they feel. And those feelings might not be valid, but we need to discuss that and we need to explore that, not tell them they're wrong for feeling the way they feel.
I'm actually going to speak.
I agree. That's why I'm saying education is the key.
Yeah. I'm actually going to talk. Sorry, I've been so sidetracked with a whole heap of other stuff. Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. I don't even disagree with people taking down statues. I disagree with the vandalism of them. I think they could be removed and put somewhere else because you're destroying somebody's art, and I don't agree with doing that. But I don't disagree necessarily with taking them down. What I disagree with is where people try to remove things from history books, because if you choose to forget what happened in history, you are doomed to repeat it. And that has tried to happen in some places, like when the Texas Education Board tried to remove the concept of slavery from the fucking history books.
Yeah, I'm a product of Texas public schools, so it's like if there's anybody who can talk to that.
Hang on, they tried to remove slavery from history.
Yeah, no, that's legitimately what they did, Chris.
They always say it's like a disagreement. They basically say it's a disagreement and da-da-da. And they whitewash so much of it, and they just make everything sound like it was just not a big deal. And like we have to take Texas history, and the whole thing is basically just like glorifying, all of these white people, these white men specifically, because women weren't doing anything at that time, of course.
Raising up children.
Mansplaining and whitewashing, that's what it all is.
Exactly.
And we outnumber you guys at the moment, so we can win this argument.
I know when to shut up in an argument. Very rarely do I do it, but I know when.
I get it. But they spend so much time like glorifying these white men, and they completely forget about all of the other cultures that made up like Texas history. And that's something that I'm just like, fucking acknowledge like Native Americans and Mexicans and black people and shit like this. Like, please acknowledge them. And they don't focus on it. Like, Texas is about like Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie and, remember the Alamo and shit. It's just like, oh man, come on. We got to do better than this, Texas. But then again, Texas.
Yeah. The thing with the school books, more so than history books, but the education curriculum, and Aaron Rao did a whole thing on this, was that what they actually tried to do was rewrite the history books so that slaves weren't called slaves anymore. They were, what isn't even indentured servitude. they had jobs with special benefits. Yeah, that's how they labeled it.
Newspeak.
Yeah.
Jobs with special benefits. Yeah, special benefits of getting whipped by your master.
Yeah, and what's even worse is that Texas basically sets the standard for school books, for textbooks in the entirety of the United States. Like the Texas Board of Education or State Board of Education is so like they have such a strong.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to get your attention for.
I realized you were after a while. It's the 2-monitor thing.
Yeah,
I have to look over that way to notice, and I didn't.
Yeah, so if you see me looking that way every once in a while, I'm looking at like chat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
incidentally, there's a lot of people typing things in the chat. I'm missing a hell of a lot, so I apologise. I know there's people I probably haven't said hello to. If I've missed you, sorry. I see I get tagged in something every now and then. I go, yes, hello, and then I'll see a few names around it. So anyone I've missed, it's not intentional.
No, most of us aren't paying huge attention to the chat at the moment. I know that there was a couple of people who said, "Can I jump in because I want to talk about this?" No, even though there's been a lot of people in this chat, it was by invite only. So unless you were invited, you don't have a link.
Jen, I'm going to say, and Chris, everyone, I'm really disappointed that A-hole 104 hasn't shown up to wish you happy birthday.
He has.
He's too busy with his prenuptials.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think it's time that we let the cat out of the bag. Look, I think Darth Dawkins has been flying under the radar for a long time, but we've done some investigations, and I've actually discovered the true identity of Darth Dawkins.
Oh.
No, just kidding.
Jeff, is there anything you'd like to say? Anything you want to fess up with there, Jeffy?
Well, I'll just say, can you be wrong? Could you be wrong about what you think you know?
We found him.
No, I
no, the Lord Ganesha is here with me.
Yeah.
The Lord Ganesha and the Lord taketh away.
I mean, I'm kind of glad you brought me back in now, obviously, where we were talking about things like, you guys were talking about things like Confederate flags and so on. And I know I've had this conversation with Amanda before, and I know she's kind of got to live it on a daily basis. But that, what we call the Confederate flag nowadays, it wasn't. It was a military. It was the battle flag thing. Now, in a couple of the later official flags of the Confederacy, it was kind of incorporated in the corner, a bit like, kind of like, say, the Union Jacks in the corner of the Australian flag.
Not for long. Not for long.
Sorry, not for long. But
which Australian flag, mate? There's two, at least.
Yeah, but the one everybody knows. So to say, let's just say the one everybody knows. That's the thing with. I mean, and this is the thing. Like there was the big hurrah where Amanda lives in Georgia, where it used to have the Confederate version of the St. Andrew's Cross in the flag, and they sort of got rid of that to make themselves look more progressive, only to replace it with the Stars and Bars, which is the official flag of the Confederacy. If you actually look at the state flag of Georgia, that is a variant of the Confederate flag with all 13 stars that represented the Confederacy. Even though there was only 11 states, they also put stars in for Missouri and Kentucky as well, which they kind of claimed as their own, even though they weren't. And that what we know of the Confederate, the battle flag, what we know that more got associated with the Confederacy in the early part of the 20th century, when it was adopted by groups like the KKK. Those were the groups that adopted that flag. And it's very important to understand historically, that flag was never the official Confederate flag, and it was never a big thing until it was kind of brought back by groups like the KKK. So perhaps I think Southerners need to look at maybe the history of their own quote unquote traditions on things like this.
Heritage
Yeah,
on
well,
blah blah.
I think the Confederacy. It's just something that, it was there for 5 minutes. It was brief. They lost. Get over it.
But damn, do they hold on to that shit? Oh my god!
Why would you want to wave the flag as, yay, we lost?
Basically.
Well, here's the thing. I think I've mentioned that one of my old hobbies used to be doing historical reenactments, and I chose to do the American Civil War. Now, I personally portrayed a federal site at a regiment. I was part of that. Ironically, though, I did a Missouri regiment, which was one of the Union slave states, I suppose. When I did that, though, all those like reenactors who joined this society, the vast majority of them wanted to portray the Confederates, because there was a certain, romance, I'd say, about the Confederacy, and it was it's weird that there's this romance about really a side that was totally in the wrong, objectively, and that's a little small to say on this screen, but I'm in that picture. This was taken in America. Unfortunately, unfortunately my cursor doesn't apply to the screen, but I'm actually in that picture of reenactors there, and that was taken in Kentucky in 2002.
Were you marching on the getting ready to attack the Ark?
That hadn't even been built yet, Chris. Actually, that hadn't even been built yet.
So was that a response to you guys? Was it building the Ark that they wanted to make sure they had a good navy and land to take care of you lot next time?
I'm gonna bring it back.
You know what? That could be the Confederate Navy, the Ark.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll say one thing. The one time I ever portrayed a Confederate, which was just to help some guys out. They used to do an event in Portsmouth every year called on HMS Warrior, called the Alabama Crew. If people remember, there was a ship called the CSS Alabama, which was crewed mainly by British people. It was an iron warship, and then the closest thing around to it that still exists is HMS Warrior, which is a museum in Portsmouth. It's there with HMS Victory and the Mary Rose, and those other historical ships. And so there was one weekend a year where they would let us. Actually, it would allow us to take the Union Jack down off that and raise the Confederate flag to do a. It was just more of a living history educational thing, and that was just one thing for time, because I knew one or two of the Confederate reenactors. I said, I'll bite the bullet, I'll put on the bloody grey for a day to help you guys out, because they needed some people, and it was good, because it was a good thing. We got to chat to people about the actual kind of history of that period. Visitors came on, and I really enjoyed that.
I think even with those things, I think it's good where you can talk to people about the history and make them understand, or help them to understand what it is. Because I think for probably a lot of people in the South, I think there's probably a lot of misunderstanding as to the war, the impact of the war, and a lot of the other circumstances surrounding it. And I think that's the case in history in general. One thing I found is most people don't know or care about history, which frustrates me as a historian. That
I'm gonna bring it back, because we have to wrap it up, because Dave's is coming up in a bit. But there was one thing that I wanted to do before we left, was if everybody could just share how they met Chris. I will start. I came into this community. Mervardia brought me into this community, and she knows I'm an insomniac, so she texted me one night and was like, "Hey, I have this friend, atheist pastor. He's got the show. called Six Pack, and it was when it was at 5:30 in the morning my time. So I came over, was in the chat a couple of times. I think like the third time I was in there, you invited me in. This was when we were still pretty small, and that is how we met. And I am grateful to her, and I'm grateful to you for the friendship that we share. So thank you so much, Chris, and that you introduced me to all these people. And I met Sam here as well. So
sorry, I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
It's all your fault, Chris.
I'm grateful. You're sorry.
I'm so sorry, Sam. I wish I had. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
But how about you, Jen? How did you meet Chris?
I met Chris also through Mero, I believe. Chris was looking for more Australian providers so that we could so we could all get together, and he'd knew about Mero and Notcher, and they sort of introduced us, and and then Chris was talking about getting Six Pack up and going, and so we all sort of jumped in and helped him with that, get him on the go. Similar with meeting Sam as well, actually. So, although I think I actually met Sam first.
Really?
I think me and Sam came in the community about the same time, but I think Sam was just there because I remember when I said to Mero, I said, I can't find any Australians out there, and she's like, "You're kidding? Here's a list." I'm just like, I wasn't looking very hard.
How about you, Susan?
Just I feel like it was probably set up by Nathaniel, but it was a Six Pack invite. It was all like, "Hey, you should come on Six Pack," and I was just all like, "Oh my god, yes! It's at 4:30 in the morning. Woo! I'm just gonna have a bunch of coffee."
Hey, wait until daylight savings switches around again, and it's back to 2:30 for you.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Earlier start.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But you are honestly one of my favorite people in this community. You are always so kind and so respectful of everybody, and just so incredibly sweet. And we do definitely appreciate the people that you have helped introduce us to and everything. So thank you. Yeah.
Back at you as well.
And I would not have met Manda if not for you. I'm just saying.
I know. We met on Six Pack as well.
I'm so sorry. Oh no, I was apologising to you, Manda.
So many apologies just being thrown around.
Can I say?
How about you, Jeff?
Okay. This was I'm guessing this was around about 5 or 6 months ago. I had, as a YouTuber for the first time, done my first ever live stream, and it was just done as a kind of a test stream. And there's a few people who I kind of talked to on Twitter came into that. Jen was one of them, Jay was another, and Critical Cripple Dave and that of it. So we just had a bit of a just talk and that. Now, as a result of that, perhaps via Jay or whatever, I got contacted by Chris Mallard from Daily Atheist. He asked me if I wanted to come on. And I think originally he had Jay down to co-host, but Jay couldn't do it. So Chris Mallard, Daily Atheist, he reached out to Chris and said, "Do you want to co-host? I've got this guy, Godless Scummer, on. Do you want to come on with him?" And we did, and I guess we kind of hit it off right away on Daily Atheist show, and literally about an hour or so after we finished that stream, I got a DM from Chris saying, "Hey, I do this thing on Fridays called Six Pack. Do you want to come in for this?"
Come on.
And
I do remember that stream with Chris Mallard, because I think I had a football jersey on. You had a football jersey on.
Yeah.
And I think we started talking football, and Chris is there going, now it's all great that y'all are talking about football, but that's not really what we're here to talk about. Yeah. And I think you and me are just like, yeah, we're having fun.
I think he was
getting cranky about that.
He was like, I don't think he'll ever have me back on again. He'd be like, because he's probably like, oh god, they're talking sports or whatever. But yeah, but Chris was on there as his and he and I just like hit it off like that. And even though Chris and I probably have some very, very different views on things, it's good that
you are far too right wing for me, mate. You're far too right wing.
Too right wing.
No, but it's good that we can have different views and yet be civil and be friends, despite that. Without like he disagrees with me. He's a terrible person. I'm glad that we can be like that. It's
and you're right. It's you're a good guy. I think. All right. I think you've got to be able to look past certain things, and I think we've all got to understand that we can all have different views. We can all disagree on things, and even we can have a conversation and still disagree at the end. It doesn't mean that people are bad people. It doesn't mean that people are horrible. It's I'm forever sort of seeing both sides bash each other, on politics, on sport, on whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you know what? There are arseholes everywhere.
Oh, exactly.
And there are very good people everywhere, and everyone who is here at the moment is a very good person.
And I also have to say thank you, Chris, for not just being a good mate to me, but like also introducing me to people who've become very good friends of mine in the last few months, like Amanda, like Navadia, I wouldn't have met some of these people if it hadn't been for you. And I appreciate you for that. And not just for making a friendship with you, but you've introduced me to people who I've become very good friends with. So I appreciate that, Chris.
But that's what we all should be doing as a community. I think we all need to bring each other together. I love this community. I really do. It's frustrates me at times, but I love it.
Oh hell yeah!
There are times where I'm just like, I'm not going on Twitter again today. Why do I go on Twitter?
Twitter would be great if it wasn't for all those fucking people.
Right.
If we could get all those lefties off Twitter, I'd be happy.
We're all too much left for you there, Chris. You just...
If all the lefties were off Twitter, though, it would just be me and Donald Trump. So
he's just a right-wing cowboy.
That leaves it up to you, Sam. You're left.
I got no fucking idea. It was Six Pack. Like I think we're both sniffing around for contacts around Twitter and YouTube, starting our channels at the same time, and so that just sort of
melded. Was
a natural connection, yeah. Because I think I introduced myself to Twitter with. Yeah, lots of shared experiences. So.
Let's face it, if we're all going to be honest, it's Mero's fault. It's all Mero's fault.
It started.
Hashtag blame Navadia.
Yeah, she's not here now, so we can blame her.
Exactly, it's fine.
I ate cheesecake today, and I didn't even tell her. I was gonna smush it in her face a bit, but she wasn't around.
Oh, you missed it, Sam. Opportunity missed.
Sam, you've told the mystery. I only came here because Amanda told me there'd be cake for this stream because it was a birthday thing. Of course, what she didn't tell me is it was cheesecake and Mero took it for me.
I'm actually still fighting to get my delivery fee waived.
There's balloons though, Jeff. I know you can't see them, but there are balloons.
There are balloons.
Yeah. And Nacho was supposed to come, but he couldn't make it last minute, so he says happy birthday as well. But
who's that? Sorry, I missed that.
Nacho, yeah.
Oh, well, he's busy
Nacho.
with Mero. Mero had to go to bed. Nacho couldn't make it.
Right?
Not.
Coincidence?
Hey, that bed's got to be warm before she gets in.
So I would like.
Was she really tired?
Right. I would like to thank everybody that came, and I would like to thank everybody in the chat that came as well. I know I say this a lot, but Chris and Lucy are my family, my closest friends. I owe the world to you guys, and you mean everything to me, and that's why I had to do this for you. I just wanted to celebrate your birthday because we are across the world from each other, and it's not like I could just pop by the pub with you or anything like that. So this is what I thought I could do. And the same goes for Sam. Sam knows how much I love him as well. I really appreciate you guys. You know that some of us are out on our own, me being in the South and stuff, and having this family that I found online. It really means the world to me. So really, this was the least I could do. And thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Jen, for producing for me.
No problems.
But really, Chris and Sam, happy birthday a million times over. I love you both dearly. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amanda.
And we're heading over to Chris's stream next, or not Chris's stream,
Dave's.
yeah, Dave's stream next. I've been drinking a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But we're doing questions next, and I've been drinking, so that should be fun.
Cool.
Not as fun as when Jen's been drinking.
I was about to say it's your turn to do a Jen.
Yeah, it's your turn, Manda, because I'm sober.
I'm
I
nowhere
had to
near as
be.
sloppy as
And I
Jen
s-
was, though.
I still was distracted.
Nowhere near.
No one's ever been as drunk as Jen was that time. Jen was good that time.
That time, which one? Which one, Chris? There's been at least 3 times.
I'm definitely going with the Sean Connery stream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think I there are parts, not so much in your stream, but in Dave's stream afterwards, that I don't remember.
I was listening to it after I had my procedure.
So you
So
don't
it
you don't remember like masturbating live on stream to people doing Sean Connery?
Oh no.
It
She
wouldn't be
did
a
that
first time.
sober.
Isn't that her channel intro?
That's right.
Yeah, I won't say what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry, Jen.
Alright.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else you want to shill for yourselves or anything?
No, I think it's not a shilling night, is it?
Nah.
Oh,
No.
bugger, I'm
Oh, except
shilling.
Chris.
You're shilling off.
Yeah.
Why? Birthday boy's going to shill.
Chris is the birthday boy. If
Hell
we
yeah.
get, he wants
Oh,
us
yeah,
to
I'm
shill, we shill.
Okay, six
Alright.
pack next week is a special 6-pack because I won't be on it. In fact, there'll be no guys on it because it is the takeover. So we're going to have a stack of female atheists coming on talking about the experience of being a woman in the atheist community, which us blokes are going to sit back and listen to and take notes. And
I'm having a boys' weekend. Screw that. I'll have no internet.
Can I come?
On your mountains. Borders might be open. No, they won't be
watch the
open.
replay. You can watch the replay.
Phrasing, Chris, phrasing.
Yes. But it's. I think it's something I'd encourage that all of us blokes should watch, and because I think it's important to understand the experience that that females have in our community. So that'll be a good one. I think there's some really good guests lined up for that. So I won't.
3 of us are here now.
Including Susan, whichever race she is.
Oh yeah.
I love Susan so dearly. So dearly.
So it's going to be a really good one. And also just keep an eye on the channel Monday evening, Australian time. So Monday morning for those of you in the US. Keep an eye on the channel. We've got something coming up that I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag on yet, but it's to do with some conversations that have been happening. So there's that, and of course conspiracies on Wednesday, where Bobby Mac's going to convince us all the Earth's flat. So just why not?
Sorry, I
we're
had to swallow my laugh then.
We're actually looking at JFK this week. So
Jen, I've actually shared something here because I just want to say something about
sorry,
Chris giving. I just want to say something about Chris giving up his channel to a bunch of women.
Ha! Simp.
Beta!
There's no guarantee we're going to give it back, is there, Amanda?
Sam, you got anything to shill as the other birthday boy?
No, not really. Not really. I'm on Twitch Tuesdays and Fridays before 6-pack, and then on the weekend when I can. And I'll try and do a video this weekend, so we'll see how we go.
Really, thank you everybody for coming so much. And we will see you next time. Head over to Dave's Critical Cripples. We're doing questions.
Bye.
Cheers, Doug.
Head over to
Bye,
Dave.
guys.